Welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk with Big Chief and Stero. You heard? Want to wish everyone a happy holiday season.
Yes, most definitely.
Hope you guys are safe, enjoyed your families, and are in the, festive spirit. Today we're going to talk about the subsequent guilty verdict of one Tory Lanez. He was found guilty by a jury of his peers for the July 2020 shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. With that being said, we're going to talk about some things today as far as, how the fans feel. His dad has been out there in the news, laying blame to Rock Nation and Jay-Z and, all these other people. At the end of the day, how you feel about that, Chief?
Well, let's give it a brief history behind this conundrum. So basically, this incident occurred at the college dinner party while they were leaving. Apparently, Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion had a confrontation. She claimed that they once had some type of fling or what have you, and the person that they were traveling with in the vehicle is a friend, and she didn't know that she had a relationship with him, and he basically didn't want this young lady to know, and it started like a whole fight between them, argument, and apparently she stated that he shot her. Police was called. They were intercepted, and they all were placed on the ground and
Interrogated,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
At which point in time, she didn't go as far as to state that it was him, because I think initially,
yes.
For fear of the police, handling him in such a way that was not conducive to his safety. So, whatever logic that was about,
And then, plus, she was saying that she was trying to protect him as well, because of the industry and so forth, and she didn't know what the repercussion would be based on what took place.
The public seems to have mixed emotions. Some feel she was lying. Some feels that the story wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Some feel that Tory was telling the truth and was not guilty of such a malicious act towards a black woman. Right now his fans are petitioning the case to be what?
To be reviewed, and for it to be appealed.
Yeah.
And for it to be overturned.
So lots of mixed reactions to this verdict that has been rendered by the court. I recently saw some video footage of his father, holding Rock Nation accountable for this particular set of circumstances. Not seeing the correlation personally as far as what one has to do with the other, but I guess someone has to be blamed. So
So basically, the father was saying that because he would not sign with Rock Nation basically was trying to derail him and derail his career. Hence the reason why he was subsequently arrested and convicted based on the shooting that was reported by Megan Thee Stallion.
It'll be interesting to note that once they sentence him, he could face a maximum of up to 22 years and deportation back to Canada, being he's a Canadian citizen.
Yeah.
Now, whether he'll get 22 years, that remains to be seen, but that's the max he can face, and the deportation is imminent, because when you are not a citizen of this country and you behave outside of the parameters of a good citizen, your legal status is always brought into question, and the powers that be will make an example of you as far as making sure that you are made an example of.
And the thing here is that he has a pattern of from what I've seen of violence. He was on a previous gun charge prior to the incident with Megan Thee Stallion, and then the issue with Megan Thee Stallion, and
he just had the incident with August Alsina.
Yes.
So Tory does seem to have a reputation that precedes him when it comes to behavior of a violent nature. So whether that was taken into account, well, the August Alsina situation wouldn't have been, because that was post the Megan Thee Stallion situation. But as far as the gun charge prior, and I heard that they were also, he had did a song that was basically speaking on issues related to this incident, and they used the lyrics of that to against him, basically, to come up with that verdict. So note to rappers and entertainers: don't speak on things because in the music that you're writing, because at the end of the day, these peoples can use it against you.
And we have seen a history of that occurring, not only with like drill rappers, but also with trap rappers, rap music rappers. Prosecutors are using their lyrics against them to prosecute them and convict them. So we will see what comes about when it comes to that conviction in those aspects, whether or not that will reach up to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to rule on that. But the thing here is that, like, with Tory Lanez, his father is coming out and blasting the media, blasting Jay-Z, Rock Nation, the industry, and so forth. I'm not, every parent is different, right? Mm-hmm. There are parents that would tell their child if they have done wrong, listen, you got to face the consequences. You make the bed, they lay in the bed, right? And there are parents out there that will, no matter what, if their child is guilty, they're going to defend them all the way to the end and say they're not guilty. He or she is a good child, a good boy, a good girl, and they just got led astray. But in the end, I'm still his or her parent, and I'm going to defend them. And to me, they're not guilty, and I'm just going to go along with defending them to the end. And I'm of the belief that Tory Lanez's father, where was he prior to all of this? Obviously, his son has issues with either his attitude or anger. And where was the lifeline prior to all of this? He should have reached out to his son and said, hey, your type of actions could lead to this. This is what could happen. And seek help and get help for him. Because in the end, now you're basically playing defense and you're blaming all these individuals for what has occurred with your son based on his attitude and his behavior. And I just think that he's doing a disservice by basically speaking up and casting judgment and blame on these individuals and in industry and so forth. Keep it quiet until his appeal comes about. So a decision will be rendered on that appeal based on the procedure of the trial.
Do you think it will come to an appeal?
Most definitely. Every case has a chance of being heard, to the next level.
Okay.
It could be set aside or, but it's up to the Supreme Court or appellate division and so forth.
I mean, needless to say, moving forward, 2023 looks to be an interesting year as far as this particular case is concerned, as far as the sentencing, what type of sentence he will be given. There will be all types of individuals who will have, an opinion, something to say. I know that right now there were lots of people who are for and against Meg at this point, speaking out on her behalf. And some are saying that, she's been blacklisted and blackballed in the,
And some are calling her she's a snitch. You know.
I mean, it just depends on your viewpoint. You
Yeah.
know, I feel that black women overall are not protected,
Correct.
and that's not a good thing. We need to change that narrative. You
Yes.
know, and as black men, it is imperative for us to be in a position to be able to protect black women
Yes.
at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, to know that, justice has been met in this particular case, it's a win for black women on a collective scale,
Yes.
So I can overstand their cheering and applauding for Meg on behalf of that win, that W, But I'm sure there were those who feel, an aversion to that decision. His fans, his loyalists, his hierophants, and those individuals will, be at the end of the road chanting for his, appeal and his, being vindicated of all charges and not to do any jail time.
Yeah, and Megan Thee Stallion, fans are out there supporting her as well. We got to protect our ladies. We got to believe them the first time they tell us, and we have to believe but verify as well. And we have to hold our men to a certain standard.
Most definitely.
Yes. And I think that based on this conviction, it's sending a message that, hey, you do the crime, you're gonna face charges, regardless of whether or not if you are a big time, movie star, actor, or musician. We see the situation with Harvey Weinstein and other, R. Kelly, and now, Tory Lanez. When it comes to, attack on women, we see that, it will eventually lead to conviction if there is evidence there, and from what it was proven that by the jurors that yes, there were evidence there to convict these individuals that have attacked, the ladies,
So, with that being said, just stay tuned. We'll keep you posted as far as the developments of this particular case as they become available to the public. Like, subscribe, and share this particular podcast. Have a happy 2023. Wish you a prosperous new year. And we'll see you on the flip side. You heard? Bless.
Socialmobie.com